In the last 5 to 6 years, anime has become a lot more popular. Actually, I can't necessarily say that. I think talking about anime so openly has become more popular in the last 5 to 6 years. And with that, there's been a wave of people watching the more popular anime series that never even entertained the thought before. But it's important to remember that all these anime were manga series first. Yeah, there are a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, a manga precedes the anime. Now, these anime and manga series aren't always a one-to-one match. Anime directors may take liberties with the art, pacing, and make slight dialogue changes, but the stories for the most part are the same. The episodes that deviate from that story are known as filler, and disregarded by most fans. Dragon Ball's anime followed the Dragon Ball manga. This was also the case for Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball GT never had a manga series and Akira Toriyama did not write that story. That's why it isn't canon. But Dragon Ball Super is interesting. Unlike Dragon Ball GT, Toriyama is involved in writing the story, just not in the same capacity that he was for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. He essentially comes up with the general plot and creates the character designs. The anime and manga deviate because Toriyama gives these both to Toei Animation and Toyotaro at the same time. Toei Animation is one of the biggest anime studios of all time, producing the likes of Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Pokemon, arguably the 3 biggest anime ever. And Toyotaro is the artist and writer that Akira Toriyama chose to be his successor. Before his work with Dragon Ball Super, he was known for creating Dragon Ball AF, a fan manga that was very popular and gave fans something to talk about between the end of GT and the start of Dragon Ball Super. Toei and Toyotaro worked independently of each other, so yeah, that's why Dragon Ball Super's anime and manga were so different. The reason this was an issue is because for a franchise that creates so much room for dialogue, there was no official point of reference for the story. If you wanted to say Goku was stronger than Goku Black, okay, but in which story? Because in the anime, Goku can barely hold his own against Goku Black, whereas in the manga, Goku fought against merged Zamasu alone. So is Zamasu weaker in the manga, or is Goku just that strong? Those kinds of discrepancies were a problem, and as much of a problem as that was, I still think that the manga is better than the anime. I love music, so one reason that I generally prefer a visual adaptation over a book is because of how music and sound design can positively impact the moment. If you haven't watched the first part of One Piece, please skip ahead. But for me, Ace's death is one of the saddest moments in fiction. How it impacted those around him is what really made his passing so impactful. I've read the manga and I've watched the anime, subbed and dubbed, and hearing Ace say, "Thank you for loving me," then hearing Luffy cry, then seeing his entire crew cry, and throughout all of this, there's this beautiful yet undeniably sad track playing in the background. It just evokes a certain level of emotions that no manga panel can duplicate. At least it hasn't for me. Dragon Ball Super has 3 moments like that. The first being Goku using the Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan Blue. The second is the haunting music that accompanies Goku Black's reveal. And lastly is Goku's first use of Ultra Instinct. But excluding those 3 instances, Dragon Ball Super's manga is superior to the anime. It's paced so much better. And I know that can be difficult to realize at times, but once you go back and read the manga once an arc is finished, it becomes a lot more apparent. But on that note, I do think Dragon Ball Super's manga comes out far too infrequently. Once every month sometimes leads to me forgetting when a chapter will be released, which also means my overall excitement for the story is diminishing. I'd rather shorter chapters if it meant we'd get weekly or even bi-weekly releases. The manga is also far better in handling weaker characters and forms, and the biggest example of this is Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan God was a huge deal at its introduction. It being a slimmer form with red hair without a power level sets the form apart from the golden hair transformations, and obviously that was the goal. But the way Super Saiyan Blue is used in the anime leads me to forget that the form is supposed to be a Super Saiyan God becoming a Super Saiyan. It's become so commonplace like a regular Super Saiyan that the form quickly lost its meaning. I think there are a couple reasons for this. The first being that excluding its debut, transforming into that state wasn't an event. We barely even saw the red-haired form after Battle of Gods. I mean, even after seeing Super Saiyan on Namek and Dragon Ball Z, Trunks, Goku, and Vegeta all had dedicated scenes focused on them just becoming Super Saiyans. After the fight against Frieza in Super, they could become Super Saiyan Blues without much of a thought. I'm not saying that every transformation had to be like the one in Broly, but give us something. This issue isn't one that the manga shares. We saw Super Saiyan God plenty of times and even witnessed Goku and Vegeta master Super Saiyan Blue to the point where they could fight against characters who seemed much stronger in the anime. I will admit that the anime version of the Tournament of Power is better than the mangas, but that's it. I would have preferred that we never got the first 2 arcs of Dragon Ball Super. The fight with Merge Zamasu was subpar in the anime, and the best arc of Dragon Ball Super is the Moro arc, and that is a manga exclusive. The manga is now the one and only canon story for Dragon Ball Super, and until we get more anime for the series, the manga will continue to be the better of the 2 in my opinion. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and let me know in the comments which version of Dragon Ball Super you like more. If this is your first time on the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I upload more videos like this. But until then, this is BigTune and thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.